Hey guys, welcome to University of Fashion Drafting. My name is Omo. So today is Saturday and I just wanted to do a fun video to show you guys that not all outfits that you see online can actually be replicated, or not all outfits you see online are actually wearable. So this outfit was actually made for a client and it turned out really nice. This is what it looks like. This is actually me wearing the outfit. It turned out really nice. However, it is actually the most impractical dress that I have ever seen made. I say this because for the boning parts, we used non-sewable boning. You can see the boning channels, the outer boning channels. We used non-sewable boning, and this resulted in a situation where when the client went out on her date, she could not sit down. So this is me trying to sit down. Can you see the pouch on my tummy? Can you see? It was even so difficult for me to sit down, because for me to sit down, the boning has to bend. Can you see that? And by the time I got up again, it had this shape, The boning had taken that curved shape. Can you see? It looks like I'm actually pregnant, but I'm not pregnant though, guys. So this is like the most impractical outfit dress that I have ever seen made. Really pretty dress, plenty work, see all of the beading and all. However, the client sent it back. So now we're going to have to find a way to adjust it, and I don't even know how we're going to adjust it. So if you have any suggestion, guys, drop it in the comment section. If you think you know what can actually be done to rectify this serious error, please drop your comments in the comment section. However, I actually still wanted to share the pattern drafting process for this video. It is actually part of the advanced online corset masterclass. Do you understand? So if you want to purchase the full course, please follow the seller link in the description box, or send a WhatsApp message to the number that you can see on the screen. So here is the course outline for the advanced online corset masterclass. You can actually see that it's packed with so much. It also includes practical sewing videos to guide you through the process of constructing your own corsets. This is the flyer for the course. So to find out more, please send a message to the WhatsApp number that you can see on the screen. So let's get right to class, guys. Ciao. Today's tutorial is going to be on how to draft the pattern for this dress. So the essence of drafting the pattern for this dress is just to show how you can manipulate your basic bodice pattern in order to create corset patterns, or create whatsoever kind of pattern you are trying to create. So here goes the tutorial. This is my pattern paper, and I'm going to begin by marking all of my vertical measurements. So after marking out all of my vertical measurements, if you've watched my basic bodice pattern or my basic dress pattern, you should be able to understand this. So the length of my dress is about 38 inches. So my bust point line. This is my under bust line. This is my natural waistline. Remember, the natural waist is 2 inches above your navel. This is my navel line that you can see me drawing right now. Then this is my hip line. My hip line is 7 inches away from my navel. And then that is my hem, which is the last line. So I'm going ahead to label all of my lines. I hope this is clear. Bust point line, under bust line, natural waistline, navel line, hip line, and then the last one is my hem line. So first things first, I would draw out my armhole box and then create my slant. My shoulder slant is 3/4 inches. So I'll mark that out. So that's my shoulder slant that I'm drawing out, which is 3/4 inches. And then next thing is to measure my armhole depth. So my armhole depth is my bust divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. Do you understand? So here I'm using 8.5 inches for a bust of 36. Do you understand? So next thing is to draw out my bust span line. My bust span line is 4 inches. So that's what you can see me marking from the bust point to hip line. Apologies for the blurriness of this video. I really don't know why the camera, I think the camera just I don't know, maybe I touched something before I started recording. I didn't realize. But the part 2 is clearer, so please just bear with me. So first off, we are marking out my bust radius, which is 3.5 inches. So that's what you saw me using my protractor to measure. So you can see me drawing a circle Do you understand? 3.5 inches. The radius is 3.5 inches. So I'm going to raise my bust span line to meet the top of that circle. Can you see what I did? So now we're going to create that around the bust. Do you understand? We're going to create that around the bust. So you can see me marking 1.5 inches on both sides of that bust span line, at the top of the circle and at the bottom of the circle. And I'm going to use my French curve to connect that back to the bust point. So you can see me doing that on both sides. So next thing, after doing that, please ensure that the bust point is curved at your bust point. Do you understand? It's not just a sharp triangle. You're not forming a triangle at that point, because the bust point is curved around that point. So you can see what it looks like. It's already looking good. So those are 2 dots. Do you understand? So now we're going to just go ahead and impute our circumference measurement. So in imputing the circumference measurement, we're not including any form of the bodice of this dress does not have any form of that. So we'll manipulate out the dart and just draft the circumference measurement just the way it is. So this is me marking my under bust, sorry, my natural waist. That is my natural waist is 28 inches, around my natural waist circumference, which is 28 inches. So you saw me marking 7 inches there. And then this is my hip arc that you can see me marking. The hip is 40 inches, so the hip arc is 10 inches. Subtracted 1 inch from that 10 inch. So what you saw me marking on the hemline was 9 inches. So I'm just going ahead to connect all of the points. Please remember that there is no form of dart on this pattern. Do you understand? Including at the underbust, there's no form of that. Do you understand? Go ahead. So I'm just connecting all of my points, and then this is what the pattern looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and work on the bust area. This is me lifting up, marking a point above the bust point line, 0.5 inches. The bust area of the dress you're trying to make is, do you understand? So I'm just connecting that back and then going under the armhole. Can you see what that looks like? Do you understand? So this is what it looks like. Remember that in this picture, it is sort of like a sweetheart neckline. Do you understand? So now we're going to work on the lower part of this dress. You can see that it has this asymmetric effect at that point. And then you can see the direction of the boning channels. So I'm erasing all of my inner lines so that when I draw out the boning channels, it would still be clear to you. So first off, I'm marking 3.5 inches below my hip line. That's where the asymmetry is going to start from. I'm going to connect that to my hemline, my French curve. So I've connected those 2 points. And I'm just cleaning out every other line just so that it's only the necessary lines that would be available. Okay, so now let me draw out the what the boning channels would look like, the direction of the boning channels would look like. Remember that there's one at the center front. Do you understand? So if you have issues understanding this, you can go to the channel and watch any of my tutorials on corsets so that you would understand this better. So I'm just drawing out where my boning channels will be along the hemline. Do you understand? So I am using about 2 inches in between, even though the spaces in between the boning channels are not equal. Do you understand? So I've just marked it based on, so this is 2 inches, 2 inches, do you understand? And then from the side seam to that first line is maybe about 4 or 3 inches. Do you understand? So depending on your size will depend on how much inches you would leave in between each boning channel. Do you understand? So please watch out for part 2. Part 2 would be coming up in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Ciao. Hello, my name is Umo. Welcome to class. This is Module 3, Level 3, and this is Part 1B. So this is the second part of our class on this, how to draft the pattern for this dress. So the reason why I chose this design is because I wanted to show the different variations of how to draft a corset pattern. So this is the front part of my pattern, and I'm going to go ahead and draw out the lines for my boning channels. So remember that this design has boning channels on it. That is outer boning channel. So this is me marking 2 inches from my center front, and then from that first point I marked another 2 inches. Do you understand? Towards my side seam. And I'm just going to go ahead and connect that first 2 inch mark to my bust span line. Do you understand? And then in the previous video I had marked the hem of I had marked where I wanted the boning channels on the hem. So please ensure that you check that video out. So I'm going to go ahead and trace it out. This is my first boning channel. So the size of the individual that you're drafting the pattern for determines, the shape of your own. Mine is a really small size. Do you understand? So the petite size. So mine might look slightly different from what the one in the picture looks like. Do you understand? Because of the width of the body of the owner of this pattern. So this is the second boning channel. I'm connecting that to the second 2 inch line along the natural waist, 2 inch point along the natural waist, and then see where the third panel is coming from. The third boning channel is coming from. Can you see that? Sort of like from the under bust line. Do you understand? And then I just connected that back. So please note that there is also one boning channel at the center front of this front pattern, at the center of this front pattern. Do you understand that? So this is what the boning channel looks like. Do you understand? And then if you're doing this on fabric, you can just fold your pattern into two, fold your fabric into two, and then let the chalk markings go onto the other side of the pattern. So this is my back pattern that I'm drawing out now, right beside the front pattern, and I'm going to also be drawing this on fold. So I'll just impute the same bust point line, under bust line, natural waist line, navel line, hip line, and then hem line. Do you understand? And then this is my center back line that you can see me trying to mark out. So I'm just going to go ahead and trace, square that up. So that is my center back line. So this is not a beginner's class. This is an advanced class. So I expect that based on this pattern drafting, you should be able to do the garment construction process on your own. Do you understand that? So this is the center back line. And then this is my shoulder line. I'm going to go ahead and draw my armhole box for the back, same way that I drew for the front. Do you understand that? And then if you want to be part of a beginner's class, if you want to be able to understand this sort of pattern drafting, advanced pattern drafting better, you can join the beginner's class and the intermediate class. To find out more about our online classes, please send a WhatsApp message to the number on the screen. So I've gone ahead to draw out my shoulder slants for my back, and then I am now imputing my circumference measurements. Do you understand? So from my center back, I'm imputing all of my circumference measurements. So this is my waist measurements, my hip measurements, and then I am penciling it. I subtracted 1 inch from the hip measurements. That's what I put on the hemline. So if your hip measurement was if your hip arc was 10 inches, do you understand? On the hemline you do 9 inches. So I'm connecting the points. So this is what my back pattern looks like. Can you see that? So now, as regards that hemline, now you can decide to make yours
short at the back, just a straight line, or you can also decide to use the same design that you used in front and make it diagonal at the back too. So if it's going to be straight at the back, let it align with the shortest length of the front. Can you see what I've done? Can you see that? At that same level, the shortest point. But if it's going to be diagonal, like the front, you just connect from that same point back to your center back. Can you see that? So you can choose whatever design you want to be at the back. But bear in mind that if you decide to make it straight, it means that the back is going to be really short. So this is my center back. This is me tracing out where my pattern starts at the back. And you see that just right under my armhole. Do you understand that? So the back is going to have lacing. If your back is going to have loops, please reduce your center back by 2.5 inches. Can you see that? From the top of the pattern to your natural waistline. You can actually do that to your navel, just depending on where you want the lacing to stop and where you want your zip to start from. Do you understand that? You can also have zip all the way from top to bottom. Do you understand? But I've decided to show you how it is done. So this is my loops. Do you understand? So this is my loops. Then my modesty panel is going to be at that point. Do you understand? So this is what the modesty panel should look like. And then from after that, after the loops, you can now have your zip. Your zip can stop at 1.5 inches after your hemline. Can you see that? So that's where my zip is going to stop. So this is the zip. Do you understand? So just imagine that this is my zip and then see what it looks like. So this is my modesty panel also. Can you see? Because you obviously know that you have to attach a modesty panel. If you don't know how to do these things, please watch my video on how to make corsets. So this is the modesty panel. Also, please note that this your lacings can stop on your natural waistline. In this case, it stops at the navel line, which is also fine. So this is me drawing out my boning channels for the back. But please bear in mind that your boning channels is going to, your boning is going to stop where your half length at the back is. So if your half length at the back is on your natural waistline, let your boning stop at that point. If your half length is at your navel line, like I did initially, you can let it stop. Let your boning stop at that point, but don't let your boning go beyond your waistline. Do you understand that? If not, it will be funny to have boning over your hip. Do you get? So make sure that you bear that in mind. I just drew the boning channels down just to illustrate, what it should look like, but it shouldn't go beyond your waist. So this is me cutting out my pattern pieces. Please bear in mind that this pattern doesn't have any form of allowance. So whatever you do, ensure that when you're cutting onto your fabric, you impute allowance, or right before you cut on your fabric, you impute allowances. So this is on your side seam. Your side seam can be, let's say, 1.5 inches or about an inch. Do you understand? And then all the other sides can be 0.5 inches. And then your zipper, your center back, your zipper allowance should be about an inch. Do you understand? So this is what the corset pattern looks like. This is what the front pattern is going to look like. Do you understand? So you would go ahead and cut out the cup area, join the pieces, wrap your cup, and then insert back into that space. I hope you understand that. So that's what it should look like at the end of the day. And then you can now go ahead and, so there's no dart on this pattern, there's no cut on the bodice of this pattern aside from the back that has a half length cut. Do you understand? So this is going to be my modesty panel. Do you understand? So you do it the way you're supposed to do it. So we've come to the end of the tutorial. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you have questions, you can send me a Telegram message or a DM on Instagram. Thanks for watching, guys. Ciao.